Welcome to our series, Learning from the Experts, 7 Winning Strategies for Building a Successful Data Center Business. Hi, I'm Bruce Taylor with Data Center Dynamics. This series explores challenges executives and managers face when operating a successful data center. In this program, we hear from John Shaputis, CEO of InfoMart, speaking with Mark Hurley, Solutions Architect at Schneider Electric. They discuss the challenge of finding the right balance between maintaining reliability while at the same time keeping an eye on cost. Let's hear what our experts have to say.
Thanks, Bruce. So John, data centers are facing increasing pressure today to reduce costs and increase reliability. How is InfoMart tackling that challenge?
Availability is the highest goal. One of the things you probably have to do is challenge the design to simplify it. You also have to use the most predictive maintenance technologies you can. And last, you have to follow it up with best-in-class maintenance process.
Okay, well, on the subject of simplifying data center design, what's one way that InfoMart has tackled that challenge with?
Raised floor is used in most data center designs, and we think it's one of the first things that should go. We've done some studies on this. In fact, we're backing this up with some work by APC. We found that cold air actually drops and hot air rises. So supplying it the cold air from under the floor introduces all kinds of problems, including the raised floor. If you were to model the system and look at raised floor or look at airflow, it's not hard to figure out where the cold air is going to go if it's dropping.
Fantastic. Well, I can also see that eliminating the raised floor is going to eliminate costs from the data center, and I can't see where that introduces any increased risk. So let's move on to predictive maintenance technology. Explain to us, what does that mean?
Well, going back to reducing complexity in design and thinking about where the errors come from, the UPS systems and the battery systems are the #1 source of errors. 75% of the downtime in data centers is caused by human error, and a good number of that comes from the UPS and the battery systems. One of the ways to measure batteries right now is to use a manual method of essentially pushing two monitoring devices onto a physical battery, and these are live systems. So one of the things we want to do is figure out, is there a non-invasive way of doing that? There are new methods, impedance-based systems, that reduce the need to touch these, it reduces the human error, and gives you a trending performance of the battery over time. You don't need to go with the manufacturer's rep that says take it out at 5 years. If conditions are different, you might have to take it out sooner. If conditions are great, it might last a few years longer, but you'll know, and you won't have any errors from all that sampling.
So the last topic, maintenance best practices. How do you use maintenance best practices to reduce your costs and increase reliability?
Well, everybody knows, or anybody who buys this equipment knows they have a maintenance requirement, and the manufacturer will supply that. I think the unsung hero in the data center is the operator, and we spend a lot of time thinking about the people we hire, the qualifications they bring, and investing in their training. If you look at the Uptime Institute categories for management and operations best practices, the top 3 are about the people. It's about staffing an organization, it's about the actual processes, and it's about training them. And I would start by thinking about who you have in there. We tend to hire a lot of US Army and Navy veterans. They come from mission critical environments. You may not see the similarities of operating a tank or a missile system or a submarine, but those have high consequences for failure too.
You know, John, it's interesting. I think about if most incidents are due to human error in a data center, I have to think about, in a highly redundant design, why not reduce the maintenance frequencies on this equipment rather than increase the maintenance frequencies?
I think that goes back to our first point, which was about reducing complexity. And I don't think most manufacturers will support that up front, but I do think the industry would benefit from having less invasive processes to help us figure out where things are going to fail, as opposed to simply testing them until they do fail.
Yeah, maybe if we combine the use of predictive maintenance technology in our equipment, we can put our hands on it less and reduce the risk of human error.
I think the question you're asking is a great one. And it's simply this: the systems today are great, the equipment is great, and these are highly redundant systems. And if the source of error is the human error, then we need to rethink how much and how often we touch it.
Great. Well, John, we're running out of time. I want to thank you for joining us today and talking about how InfoMart optimizes cost and reliability in their data center design.
My pleasure.
Back to you, Bruce.
Thanks, gentlemen, and thank you all for joining us today. I hope you were able to gain new insight and value for your data center business from this conversation. On behalf of Schneider Electric, this is Bruce Taylor for Data Center Dynamics.